Speaker, I rise to take a short call on this electoral amendment bill. And Mr. Speaker, I suppose it's appropriate that we celebrate women's suffrage of 120 years, and particularly Kate Shepherd, who again led the opportunities where women could vote, world leading, and it's a great opportunity because out of there the principles were to be accessible, to be eligible, and to allow for women to vote, but also to Mr. Kate Shepherd. And Mr. Speaker, the important aspect of this bill actually wants to take on those key principles. One of the things, and I was part of the Select Committee, for the Just Electoral Select Committee, I want to honour and acknowledge, all of the members, and in particular the Charles Chevelle that was here at that time, and also the Honourable Leanne Dalziel. We had a very good working relationship on this bill. There was a couple of contentious issues that we debated. Mr. Speaker, particularly, I just want to point out the issue in regards to the rosettes. There's been a lot of sort of hilarity brought up about this and that we're anti-rosettes. Actually, it's not, Mr. Speaker. In fact, about the rosettes and the ribbons. But in actual fact, if the members were aware, and I know Mr. Goff will know this, actually there is an exemption to the prohibition of electioneering on election day. There's a very narrow part of that clause in which that exemption there was just about wearing rosettes. Now, there was common agreement from your colleagues that were there. Look, it wasn't a biggie. Let's just make sure that we cover that. So the making of the rosettes, the reality is, as a select committee, we really didn't have an issue there. So it was passed, it was agreed on, and that was part of the report. So we'll go to the select committee with that as well. So that was the issue about the rosettes, okay? Mr. Speaker, I think what is important, and I was also too part of a number of other MPs who went around the country, and in particular, I suppose what was of concern to us in this review process was the lower voter turnout. And so in particular, especially for our young people and in particular, and one thing that we talked about was how do we improve greater access around this. I think that one of the main provisions around improving efficiency by allowing greater use of technology is absolutely important. But I do take on Mr. Goff's point, whereas that there is another part of the generation that are out there that still want that manual process. They want to get up, they want to do their civic duty, they want to come down there on a Saturday morning, they want to go into the polling booth, they want to register, and they will actually want to physically do that. So as a select committee, Mr. Speaker, we took this on board. We know that it's not an either or, it's a combination of the two. So the online voting system registration is a part of that. There was also talk about the opportunity to pilot some of that, and I know Holly Walker was very much keen for us to do that, and we're looking into that, Mr. Speaker. That's an important part as well. The other parts of the provision of the bill is around improving services to voters and candidates. For example, it will allow for greater use of the easy vote cards to simplify and improve the accuracy of issuing and recording votes. Mr. Speaker, though Mr. Peden talked about the fact is that we could uphold the system as having some integrity, there was some, what you call, be it that anecdotal, there was some evidence to show that there were times where there are people who have tried to rort the system. There was conversation, for instance, I suppose the issue that happened out in the Waitakere electorate, and we know that there was evidence there that goes to prove that, look, the system isn't perfect, it is a great system, however, we do need to be vigilant. So the amendments that we have made, Mr. Speaker, is to ensure that there's some vigilance around the integrity of the system. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, I just want to point out the other third main provision, and that's around improving the integrity of elections through simplifying and clarifying the law. Mr. Speaker, we look forward to this going to the Select Committee. It will clarify that the High Court can take direct the Electoral Commission to recalculate and to amend the allocation of list seats if there is a successful election petition as well. So, Mr. Speaker, three good provisions. I look forward to a continuing discussion with our Justice Electoral Select Committee. I think the provisions that we've made are important, they're correct, and we have a unanimous and consensus around this. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I commend this first reading of the bill to the House.
Dennis O'Rourke.
Mr. Speaker, New Zealand First will support this bill to the Select Committee. The Justice and Electoral Committee's inquiry into the 2011 general election did